Welcome back to Without a Doubt, the podcast, where we explore the transformative journey of breaking cycles and embracing your truest self. I'm Mad, a cycle breaker, creative, and a sprinkle of reality. If they told you to be quiet, sit down, blend in, but you just could never do that, this podcast is for you. And I am so happy that you are here. It's pretty ironic that I'm actually releasing this episode 15 days into the new year. One might actually say I'm a little bit late. However, I am rolling into 2025 by deloading the pressure. And I totally did drop the ball last week on whatever episode I was supposed to come out with because I said I would be back on the 8th. But it is really and honestly because I took the pressure off. Like, honestly, I decided I'm not going anywhere and neither is this podcast. So what the F is one more week? Only one of you guys actually reached out and was like, hey girl, where's your podcast? But I did start off this January and 2025 with a little adventure, a detour, and a spontaneous extra night because life is meant to be lived and we need to be able to live it. Starting off the new year on the right foot can actually set the tone for the entire year. That is why people start making resolutions, intentions, or whatever refresh they feel 2025 is going to bring. I'm not saying that it's going to keep the bad away. I'm just saying that we can shift our mindset into a more positive zone and find silver linings, even when it seems grim and gray. And let's get real honest about 2025 start off. And the world is on fire, literally. Our United States is on fire. And I think for a lot of us, we're starting off the year thinking like, how is this year even going to be a good year when we have these catastrophes? And it just feels like no matter which way you turn, everything seems to be a mess. I do think we could all benefit from this podcast, so let's get to it. Here are some ideas to actually help you start 2025 strong and grounded. What you do for yourself will benefit the world. Let's start off by talking about reflecting on the past year. If you're a journaler or maybe you have a gratitude journal, take time to actually sit down, go through it, reflect, and see what worked for you last year. See what felt good for you in 2024. Celebrate your wins and acknowledge the areas you might need for growth. I talk about gratitude all the time. Write them down. Say them out loud. What are you grateful for from this past year? And how can you shift your mindset into one of abundance and appreciation? I do think that this one is harder when we're all feeling like hardships are just knocking at our door constantly. But I do think it's important to be aware of what goodness you do have. Sometimes the hard shit overweighs the good shit. And let's move into that resolution intention talk. Set the intentions. You don't have to set a resolution. I am not a resolution girl. You can get real specific with your goals instead of broad resolutions like lose weight, which is the most generic beginning of the year bullshit. Break it down into more actionable steps like I want to exercise or walk 4 times a week for 30 minutes. Start off daily, get into weekly, and then move into monthly. Focus on your habits, not your outcomes. I think if you're setting the intentions around the process, focusing on forming the sustainable habits rather than stressing over the actual results. This podcast is actually the prime example. Weekly episodes, good content with something that either feels like a hug to you or something that you can pocket. Rather than beating myself up over listens or lack of engagement, remember the reason, the why, the purpose on why you started. For me, this was my little outlet on how I could share more long-form content of stuff on my brain. I think this is another real important one that we don't talk about enough, obviously. We all talk about it way too much. But if you haven't already started, let's start prioritizing our mental and physical health in this year. Creating routines, morning rituals. Any of those things can actually set the tone for the day. Consider incorporating mindfulness into your practices, finding nutritious foods to fuel your brain, and even a little bit of exercise. Commitment to sleep is so important. It's fundamental. And it's productive to you being and feeling like yourself. If you can prioritize your rest and establish healthy sleep habits, I promise you things will change. Finding the help that you need, getting into therapy, finding a life coach, a mentor, or someone who can keep you in line or on track is just something a lot of us might need in general. There's a handful of us, including myself, that struggle with asking for help or even delegating. And for this kind of person, we need the reminder, you need the reminder, that you can't do it all alone. Trust in someone else to help you. I also think another vital thing we need to do in 2025 is declutter. Underconsume this year. Declutter your physical space, starting off the year by decluttering the house, your office, your files, pictures on your phone, leads to a more clear, focused mind. I think we're all looking to live that way instead of in this little hazy mess of our brain. If you can clear your mental space, you can consider maybe journaling, meditation, therapy, yoga, whatever you need to clear that space. Starting the year with a clean slate is essentially the way to start off the year with less stress and actually increase your productivity. Let's talk about kindness. Can we all start by doing this a little bit better this year? Start the year focused on kindness, what you can do for the world, a simple gesture of goodwill, helping a neighbor, complimenting a coworker, volunteering. All of this stuff creates a ripple effect of positivity. I'm not tooting my own horn, but on the on the very first of the year, I had a few extra flower bouquets. So I dropped them off at my neighbor's and it really made my heart happy. It also reminded me I'm so much like my mom, but it was more than just heartfelt. It was truly the right thing to do. Sometimes we need to focus more on actually doing the right thing. Your heart will jump for joy when you are giving to others, and you're giving to others organically. You don't feel forced to do that. As we move into 2025, let's talk about embracing change, letting go of perfection. Hello, I did that this year. I was like, you know what, girl, if you can't get this podcast out this week, you're feeling stressed, just one more week, it's okay. This is the best time to start embracing your progress over perfection and focusing on your own growth. Be open to new opportunities, whether it's in your career, your social life, your personal pursuits. Welcoming new opportunities with an open mind. What is meant for you will not miss you. Can I say that again? What is meant for you will not miss you. I promise you that. You have to make time for play. You have to have fun, and it's important to stay focused, but don't forget to make room for play. Work hard, play harder, whether it's a weekend getaway, a spontaneous dance party, whatever. Spending time with your family, loved ones, best friends. Play is essential for a balanced life. I have a new little goal right now of 1 trip per month. Even if it's a day trip up and back, an overnight trip, or just like a little day of feeling like a tourist in my own town. I'll give my mom credit on this because we started doing this weekly trip thing and our lives all got busy. But moving into this year, I really want to try to just do more. And so far, I have 1 in the bag. Just this past week, Kendra and I actually went and swam with the manatees in Crystal River. It was unbelievable. It was a great little 4-hour drive from where we live, and it really revitalized both of us. It created more childlike wonder than we even realized, and it keeps our relationship from falling into the very basic, mundane routines. We both are very adventurous nature people, and we love animals, wildlife, and it's how we both feel more refreshed into the day-to-day. If you can find something that makes you feel like playing and childlike and young again, I truly think that these are the things that keep us youthful. I'm going to be 35 this year, and I don't want to be an older person. I don't want to be a grumpy 30-year-old woman. I say grumpy because a lot of people are just not happy on this planet. My final tip for the year is let's get and stay flexible. Get flexible. Remember, we start off the year with these intentions, these resolutions, whatever. The key is that life is unpredictable, and we can't always choose when the door is going to open. Sometimes the key is not going to work. I think starting off the year with with a good intention is the key, but remember, life is unpredictable. Staying flexible with your goals, embracing change as it comes. It's okay if things don't go as planned. It's okay if you don't get to the project you wanted to, even if it's this year. It's okay if you don't get to do the day trip that month. Starting the year off with a little bit of balance of introspection, some planning, maybe even a little bit of action is going to help you approach 2025 with the clarity and purpose you should be. We are living and we should not be struggling to get through. We create the magic. We set the tone for the year. Your vibe will undoubtedly urge the response and lead you to the year that you want to have. Be open, be happy, and be wild. Before you know it, we will be talking about 2026 and life and moving into that year. Time flies, time creeps, and time will not stop. So make sure every day is the one that you're living. I could not be more grateful that you're here as usual, as always. I love you and I'm so appreciative. I'm grateful you listen in and tune in. Without you, this podcast would just be me. Final reminder for the day, for the year, for the month, for the week, for whatever, that you are without a doubt a badass. And don't you forget it. XOXO, your girl Mad, and I'll see you around. Hey, if you're watching this on video format, did you notice something different? I'm trying some new backgrounds here because 2025, be flexible, try new things. Here we are. So if you're tuning in and you're watching this on YouTube, let me know what you think. If you're listening to this on the podcast app, tune into my YouTube. Tune into my Instagram and see what the fuck is up over there. Love you, peace out, and see you next week.
Hey, and by the way, if you love this podcast, let me remind you that you sharing this is one of the greatest ways to help my podcast just grow. If you don't already follow this, hit the follow button, give it a rating, do something with this that can help this go from where I am now to somewhere greater. You have the ability to help me be a bigger podcaster. I love you for being here, and you can always find me on YouTube, Instagram, or anywhere you listen to your podcasts. See you around and catch you next time. Bye.